Hi, everybody. You're listening to WXCD 107.3 FM. This is DJ Nikki in the studio with Cassie from elwoodcity.org with your weekly news wrap-up. So, I know that the story I wanted to start out with is different than the story you wanted to start out with.
Yeah.
But since you're the gorgeous co-host and pretty much the show is for elwoodcity.org, we're going to start with your story.
Okay, we'll get to yours right after, though, I promise.
Okay, we'll take turns.
All right. Well, I actually just wanted to start out by saying congratulations to a couple people in Elwood. First one is actually the Lincoln High School STEAM department, which is their science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics program.
Gotta love acronyms.
Yes,
It's a little bit better than SUDI.
Yeah, this one actually makes a little bit more sense.
A little bit.
Recently, as actually just the other day, they received a $25,000 grant from West Banco for their outstanding
Academic achievements?
Yes.
Okay.
Their outstanding academic achievements and just all the things that they have been working on. Like, I was there to take pictures of the check giving, and they had a 3D printer there, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. And they even told me that they also have like a laser that's going to be installed soon. So they're really
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're really getting super like
Advanced.
yeah. I'm really
and which
excited.
is really cool because, when you think about, the students are the future of everything, industry and economy and all this. To have something so cool, I think would inspire them, because, I don't know, the people that are going to forge history are going to be the people who were inspired at a young age to pursue that kind of thing. So when you have things like lasers and 3D printers and, you're going to spark something in a kid to be like, oh my God, like science and technology, this is what I want to get into.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're aimed at doing,
And that's awesome that they got such a nice grant.
That is great. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So I definitely wanted to say congratulations to them.
Yeah, awesome.
And I also wanted to say congratulations to Alexis Spiker, who sang the national anthem past Tuesday at PNC Park at the Pirates game. And I'm still waiting to hear her sing. They're going to upload the video, I think, in a couple weeks, so that'll be posted on our site.
Nice.
But we did like an article about her, and we interviewed her, and she is like the absolute cutest.
Now, how old is she?
She's 11.
And she got to sing at a Pirates game.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
I thought it was so great. I told her, I was like, I don't even know you, and like I'm so proud of you because everyone in Elwood,
Yeah, that is a big deal.
It is.
And honestly, it takes more talent than just being able to sing, because here's what happens is you'll always notice that all performers have an earpiece in their ear.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because imagine if you were talking on the phone and everything that you said about 26 seconds later, you heard it again come back to you. It would stumble you. And
right.
That's what happens when you sing in a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're singing bounces off the stadium and comes back to you like 20 seconds later. So that's why they have the earpieces in, because it allows them to hear themselves and not so much of the echo. A lot of people get stumbled.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said whenever I was interviewing her. Because I said, I was like, well, what's the difference between, singing in a big group like that? Do you get nervous? What about it? And she said that, that was one of the things that she basically stated, that she had to practice a couple extra times just because of the echo. However, she has done this previously. Like last year, she did it at PNC Park as well, and she plans on doing it next year. So she kind of has a little bit of...
She has a little bit of experience with it.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you how I prepared to sing in a stadium. I sang the national anthem, and I recorded it. And then I would turn up the speakers in my house really loud, and I would start to sing it, and about 2 sentences into it, I would have one of my kids press the play button, and then it would start. So it simulated a 20-second echo, just so that I would get used to it.
That would be so hard.
It is hard. It is ridiculously hard. But that's how I prepared for it was, I I would sing and record it, and then it would play back off of what I was actually singing at that, in real time.
Yeah, right. That's a really good
Just
way
to
to
get me used to
practice.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's a ridiculously hard thing. It really is.
Yeah. So
And for her to be able to do it at 11, and you said she did it last year, which means she did it at 10. It's pretty phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Oh, she is fantastic. Like she's been taking singing lessons since she was 4, and she's actually in the band In Harmony, which is like a local band around here. And she plays guitar and sings for them as well.
Wow.
And she sings the national anthem at like her brother's games, and she.
What was her name again?
Her name was Alexa Spiker.
Okay. I'm going to have to maybe get her in here for an on-air interview. That would be interesting.
That would be really cool. I could probably put you in contact with
Absolutely.
her. With her.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Maybe I can even get her to do the national anthem on here.
That would be really cool. I bet she would.
Yeah,
she
that
would
would be
really
cool.
love that.
All right. So congratulations. Go out to Elwood and Riverside. Have had some pretty cool things happen this past week. On to something not so cool. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Do we want to talk about it?
Can we talk about it?
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So the clown sightings. Okay. I just saw recently today on the news Officer McBride doing an interview with Channel 11, which I have to say, props out to Officer McBride on that fresh new haircut that he got right before he went on camera, because I'm pretty sure that his hair looked like it had just been cut 10 minutes before that. It was on point. I love our police officers here in Elwood. I
do too.
legitimately, out of 15 officers, I'm probably friends with at least 12 of them.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
They really are. I love going over.
And I'm not
talking
saying
to
that
them.
the other 3 I don't like. I'm just saying that they're not people I'm friends with. But they want to shrug it off a little bit, like, let's hope it's just teenagers doing the fad thing. But there's always that cop side of them that's a little defensive, because it could be something really creepy. So
the thing is, though, there's not a whole lot that they can do if this clown is
if
not.
he's just following people around, there's nothing they can really do. However, right down there by the Enmetco, a clown jumped out in front of someone's car on Thursday morning and almost caused her to wreck. Now that is against the law.
Oh, yeah.
You can't jump out into traffic and possibly cause a calamity, because if you get caught, then you can get in trouble for that. But we started trying to read up about it yesterday, like why is there such a big clown fad? I guess it came down to music artist and movie producer Rob Zombie
I
has
love
created
him.
a new movie.
Just saw him
31.
the other week with the.
Did you?
Yeah, he was performing with Korn.
Yeah.
Awesome show.
Yeah, my son, a couple of years ago, saw him with Disturbed and Korn and all that, and got to meet him. And
Oh, really?
yeah, because
Oh, that's
they all had
awesome.
VIP. But so for his new movie 31, it was actually staged as a stunt, that these clowns, these scary clowns, were going to walk around in different various cities, and that's how it started. But then it went so big and viral that everybody started copycatting it. And so now you have people that have nothing to do with the promotion of the movie walking around in clown suits. And here's where you come to the dangerous part of it. Sometimes when you start something, you don't realize how it's going to domino into other areas. So here's the scary side of it, is that truly creepy people are also in on the fad now. And I guess in South Carolina, there was a group of clowns that were literally luring kids back into the woods. And I guess there was a clown who recently stabbed a teenager.
I think it was the other way around.
Was it?
I think that.
Maybe I heard it wrong.
Yeah, no, I actually just read that. There was a 16-year-old kid who got stabbed because he was dressed up as a clown.
Okay, see, I heard it wrong. I thought that a clown stabbed a 16-year-old. Okay, all right. Well, if you're going to do this, you literally run the risk. Because, like I said, I would say the majority of the people doing this, the officers here now would are probably right. They're probably teenagers who think it's a funny, viral fad thing, whatever. They're probably, got 3 of their buddies in the bushes with cell phones recording them scaring people and whatever. But the problem is that creepy people who normally would stand out and you would be like, don't go near that person, they're creepy. They don't. They all blend in now, because everybody's dressed as clowns. And I pretty much said that, I'm a protective mother, and if a clown comes onto my property and he ain't yelling trick or treat on Halloween night, he's going to get the trick end of it. He's going to leave with a few more orifices than what he was born with. I'm just saying. And that's a dangerous thing.
Oh, it really is. Like, did
'Cause a
you
lot of people
ever?
think it's funny, but when you get people who are being stabbed and shot because they're dressed as clowns, it's not really funny anymore.
No, did you ever see that like viral video like several years ago of this guy who dressed up as a zombie and like walked around like a neighborhood in, I think it was Florida, and he actually got shot at because people were like so afraid.
And they probably believed that the zombie apocalypse had probably
Yeah,
started.
right. So yeah, it's all great and funny when it's a joke, but it's really,
It's dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not all people are going to take it as a joke, and you really have to run that risk if you're going to
Oh,
do
that's the
that.
other thing. Okay, even if you don't believe in something as absurd as a zombie apocalypse, there are drugs on the streets that make people appear to be like zombies. And at that point, we were looking up the drug that came from Russia I don't know if it came from Russia, but it's booming in Russia, which is that crocodile drug. And literally it kills your skin and causes
Ugh.
you to have gangrene, and you lose your toes and you lose your fingers, and
Why
your
would
skin
anyone
rots
take
off your
that?
body. And they told the news correspondent in the study that the average lifespan of someone addicted to this, I don't know if it's crocodile or crocodile, but they said the average lifespan is only 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does it do? Is it like a high?
I
or-
didn't read about the perks of why people want to do it. I mean, I can't imagine, but the pictures that we looked up online of what it does to people was unbelievable, and it literally makes them look like the Walking Dead. And so, me as a protective gun-toting homeowner, if I thought that somebody was on the kind of drugs that would do that to them,
Yeah.
I would protect them to the full extent of castle law. I tell you right now, I would put you out of your misery very quickly. And so that's why it's not funny for people to dress up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, the thing is, if someone wants to be scared, they're going to go out and they're going to go to a like scare house or a haunted house or something like that.
And I'm all
We
about
don't
people
need
who like
people
fear.
scaring
Yeah.
people that don't want to be scared. How many
Right.
elderly people couldn't, handle that?
Handle that.
You know what I mean?
right. And that's the thing. I mean, let people chase down their own vices. I mean, I get people who are like adrenaline junkies and they love the fear factor of things because it gets their adrenaline going, it gets their heart pumping, and but they need to be able to choose to have that experience and
Yeah.
not just have it thrust upon them when
Right.
they're not expecting it. It just.
Especially with something as touchy as this clown thing,
I have several friends who are like deathly afraid of clowns, deathly afraid of them. And I just thought, with it being so viral and rampant all over the country right now, I can't imagine how many people who, may end up with like a heart attack or something,
Yeah, for
'Cause, I mean,
sure.
I don't have a fear of clowns. I do have a suspicious fear of people in general. You know what I mean? So, like, if a clown were coming at me, I would take a very self-defensive measure. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I don't blame you at all.
I mean, in one aspect of it, it was pretty genius on Rob Zombie's part to start such a viral fad all over the country because it has everybody talking about 31. Everybody. But I don't think that he perceived that it would continue to go as far as it has to the point where people are being hurt.
No, but I don't think it's his fault either. I
No,
think that
that's what I mean.
just
Because he
society.
could not have envisioned that.
No,
I don't think that someone
absolutely not.
can blame him. They can accredit
No.
him for starting it. I don't know. People have been afraid of clowns ever since, like, Gacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since the days of Gacy, people have been afraid of clowns.
Yeah, I totally
And then
understand.
only further fueled by Stephen King's It. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's always been a market for people
Creepy
being afraid of
clowns, yeah.
clowns,
Right, absolutely. To me, they go hand in hand with like porcelain dolls. They're just
Yeah,
freaky.
right? I was just thinking that in my head. Like, that's almost as creepy as those dolls that stare at you.
I know. Speaking of all this freaky stuff, though, this week coming up, I'm actually going to the haunted Hillview Manor to get a personal tour.
Are you?
Yeah, to get a personal tour to write about it on our website, and I'm really excited.
I could be your correspondent. Like, I could carry your purse. Just tell them we need 2 media credential passes because we both need to go. Be like, we co-host a news show together and we want to report on this. So
That would be so cool.
just
But
take me with you, girl.
I know. I'm so excited. Like, I don't know if.
I've wanted to go there for a while. I've never gotten a chance to go. I talked to the curator of it, and she said that if we could get 10 people together to come in as a group, she would give us a group rate, which was extremely more cost effective than trying to go in just as a single or a double.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so we actually talked about, me and my fiance, getting a bunch of friends together to go do it. Because we know a bunch of people who legitimately want to be real ghost hunters. Now, you know that Hillview Manor was
What's
actually
that?
visited by a big TV network ghost hunting series. And
It was, there was
was
Ghost
it
Hunt.
Taps or Ghost Hunters?
There was Ghost Hunters, and then there was Ghost Adventures as well. And
Okay, it
Ghost
must have been
Adventures.
Ghost Hunters that I was watching. They caught a full-bodied apparition walking across the hall from one room over to the other. It looked just like a 6-foot shadow.
I watched the Ghost Adventures one because I'm like a huge Ghost Adventures advocate. I think
I'm not
Zach,
sure I've ever seen that.
I think Zach Bagans is like the cutest thing in the world. I was
He's the
actually
cute factor. Okay.
yeah, I was actually like lucky enough to have a conversation with him on Twitter, as weird as that is, but he messaged me after I like messaged him.
Listen, I get it. I've had conversations with the hosts of Mythbusters because I'm
Oh right.
secretly a dork.
Yeah, right.
No, I was so excited. You don't understand.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. I'm glad that you understand what I mean.
got you, girl.
Yeah, so I watched the one where they went, and I know that there was a lot of creepy stuff that they captured.
Yeah.
Like, and I am just so excited to go there and experience it. I mean, I'm obviously not going overnight. I'm going to go during the day, but either way, it's just like when you walk into a house or a building that has that kind of dark history, it just feels like you're getting hit with like
Right.
negative energy.
I was going to say, it's that whole remnants of that leftover negative energy
Yeah.
that it'll penetrate like your body. You'll be able
Yeah.
to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived in a haunted house before, and I mean, I lived there, and it's such a different feeling. Like,
Oh, it
something
totally
you can
is.
feel all the way through you.
Yeah, and you just don't feel alone. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about doing that.
I can't wait until you tell me about it. That's
I
gonna
know.
be awesome.
I can't wait to do a post about it. You
I
know what I
know.
mean?
Well, you do the post about it on elwoodcity.org, and we will talk about it on this show.
All right, that sounds pretty good.
It's a plan.
All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is we got more updates on the water treatment plant. So real quick, I'm just going to go over those. Basically, I talked again to the manager of the PA Water Company, who is overseeing, I guess, like the new water treatment plant that's coming in, and he's the one that's kind of like organizing it. And I just asked him, I was like, when is this going to take place? When are people going to notice like a whole changeover of their like water source or whatever? And he said that the building is going to start happening in 2017, and I guess by 2018 it should be
Oh, okay.
kind of up and ready. And the other thing is, like, again, I asked, I was like, well, where's the water going to come from? Because that was kind of where this whole thing started, was that people are a little bit concerned that it's not going to be coming from the Slippery Rock Creek anymore.
Right.
And unfortunately, it seems as though the water will be coming from the Connoquenessett and Beaver River. So for anyone that was really an advocate for the Slippery Rock Creek,
Okay, well,
it's
like
not
before,
looking good.
and we have said this many, many times, if you don't like something, get up and do something about it. Get up and make a change for the better, So this brings me to this little thing that I talked about before. There is the Connoquenessett cleanup. It happens like 3 or 4 times every year, and it's hosted by the Allegheny Aquatic Alliance. And there is absolutely no reason why, if you are somebody who is concerned about the water quality of the Connoquenessett, then do something to clean it up. I mean, if you can't stop the fact that it's going to come from there, then do something to clean it up.
Yeah,
You don't even
good
have to
point.
wait for a Connoquenessett cleanup date. You don't even have to link yourself up with the Allegheny Aquatic Alliance. Hook yourself up with your family and your friends. Take a walk. Take a garbage bag. Go start cleaning up garbage. I mean, because if you don't think that, and every time you pull a water bottle out of a creek, you have made an effort to clean it up. Because the plastics that the water bottles and containers and things are made out of, they have, I want to say, like, I think they're PCBs or something like this, okay? So they're hazardous. And what happens is after time, they start to break down. Like, if you buy a water bottle in a store and you drink it, you're not going to get that stuff, okay? Now, they warn you, don't rinse your water bottles with hot water and then try to reuse them. Why? Because it opens up the pores of the plastic, and then it allows these chemicals to leach out.
Right.
These are cancer-causing chemicals. And what happens is, even without hot water, boiling water, whatever, when these items start to deteriorate from age, those chemicals leach out
Yeah.
into the water source that they're sitting in. So it is very easy to take you and your kids and your family and whoever, walk along the creek sides with a garbage bag and start cleaning it up. Every little bit's going to matter in the long run. And like almost if you can't fight them, then help them.
Right. Yeah, for
You know.
sure. For sure.
If it's going to come from the Connoquenessett, it's going to come from the Beaver River, then join efforts to do cleanup.
Right.
Make the water sources clean.
And speaking of
That's
that,
my opinion.
Oh, no, I completely
My
agree with
opinion
you.
never reflects the opinion of WXED. I'm just going to say. It's just my opinion.
I totally agree with you on that. But the thing is, like, as we have said before, people would rather complain about something than
Right.
to
Right.
do anything active about it. But anyways, to go along with that, Elwood City is going to be applying for a grant to help resolve their combined sewer systems that are still present in the city, which is obviously an aged...
It's an age system, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's totally not good for the environment at all.
Right.
Because recently, the CVS foreman or whatever, someone who was dealing with CVS and was dealing with their sewer system and putting in their water and whatnot, witnessed what he claims as like sewer contents being drained into the Connoquenessett. And so immediately, the borough was informed and they took action and they cleaned it up and they fixed it and whatever. And I asked about it and I said, well, what is this going to be like an ongoing problem? What's going on here? And they gave me information. And, they said that Pennsylvania and most likely nationally, most of our cities are built with these combined sewer systems where whenever it storms,
yeah, they get too full.
yes,
And
so the sewer
They can't handle the
contents-
extra rainwater, and then they
Right.
start to overflow the sewage
Yeah.
into the waterways. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's happening, and Elwood's trying to do everything that they can to kind of get rid of those soon.
Yeah, which is great. And it brings my mindset back to the very first story that you talked about when you talked about the STEAM program at the high school. When you talk about things that are going to better the future of everything, it's always some idea or invention that somebody came up with. So that's why programs like that are amazing, because
Yeah.
they catch these kids when they're young.
Yeah.
One of these kids that's currently in the STEAM program now at Lincoln High School may grow up to invent the next water treatment,
Right.
and clean up the entire country.
We need the innovators.
My fiance went to school with a kid who was normal, everyday Joe Schmo. Literally invented a device that turns dirty water into drinking water and sold it to third world countries, and now is a millionaire.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I have no problem with somebody having monetary gain, because you know what? They were the ones that put the time and the effort and the passion into pursuing something, not sitting around complaining about it.
Oh, and it is so hard to actually like build things and come up with
new
blueprints
inventive
and-
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, and to actually pursue making them and whatnot. So kudos to him.
Yeah. Right.
That's not easy.
And so it's amazing. It makes me feel very happy that Elwood immediately addressed the issue, and they were like, yes, something needs to be done.
Well, me too. And that's the thing. Like, I know that we talked about this last week. Everyone's so up in arms about like the borough and council and how they don't do anything. But to be honest with you, I see this from my perspective where I don't live here, and my portion of wherever I live handles things completely differently. And actually,
yes.
it's not even nearly as nice
No, not at all.
or as responsive as Elwood is.
Right.
So,
And that's the thing. I mean, I had to move back out of Elwood just because of I couldn't find the land that I was looking for around here that was
Right.
available, in my price range. So I didn't move too far away, but I'm always going to be like an Elwood girl, and I'm always going to lobby for the fact that people need to recognize that Elwood's a great place to live. People that live here all the time, they get complacent with it, and all they want to see is the bad stuff, and they only want to complain. And they just don't understand what it would be like to go live somewhere else, because I've done it. I lived in Elwood for 20 years. I moved away for 2. When I came back, I was like, man, you don't even know how much I miss this town.
oh yeah, oh, it's so gorgeous here. Like, again, I don't live here, So for me to come here and work, like, I feel like that's a privilege in its own.
Right.
You know, I don't feel unsafe walking around on the streets. I feel like the people here are really friendly.
Yeah.
I really love this community, and I really think that our council and our borough members are absolutely fantastic. And as you had said, even the police officers are really awesome.
Right. Yeah. And that's why we had brought it up on a previous show that some people believe that the borough manager should have to resign because he doesn't live here. And my opinion, again, not the opinion of WXED, but my opinion personally, is that if you're going to do everything you can for the enrichment of this community and you care, then you should be allowed to do that. Doesn't
And I
matter if
feel
you
like-
reside
yeah.
in the city limits. If you care about this city, I don't reside in the city limits, but I care about this city.
Exactly. No, and I think Bob does an absolutely fantastic job. And I think he really does care about
Right.
the community.
Absolutely.
You know, there's always room for improvement, but there's always worse out there. And
Oh.
I think we're really lucky to have who we have.
We have a great city, and we have, you know, people who are in charge of, you know, running things. They really passionately care about the town. And we also have several police officers who are extremely passionate about protecting and serving this town.
Yeah, I know. Like, I obviously have to deal with them whenever I go and get the police reports, and I always find it to be such a pleasure to interact with them because they are so sweet.
Yeah.
And
And I always tell
everyone is so
everybody,
friendly.
if you have a problem with police, it is probably because you've done something that you shouldn't have done,
Exactly.
and you've created a problem that the police have with you to begin with.
Right.
Now, there are instances where there's been a little bit of ego on the police side of things. So it's caused a little bit of tension, but
The majority of
But that's the thing,
police
you know.
officers do this because
Mayor Tony Court
they care.
has recognized those kind of issues and is doing his best to head off any overinflated egos that, you know, he doesn't want it to get in the way of them having good public relations. And so he pushes his officers to make sure that they're good standing with the public, you know, because you can't treat people like everyone's a criminal, because we do live in a good town and the majority of us here aren't criminals.
Do you know what's funny too is, like, again, I read the criminal complaints, I read the police reports. The people that are the criminals seem to be the
ones who
same
complain the
names.
most?
No, it's always the same names, you know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? Like, I always see their names
Oh,
that are popping up. So it's not like it's everyone, because it's really quite just a select few people.
Right. Yeah, I agree. All right. So, do you have anything else for the weekly news wrap up?
The last thing I really wanted to just remind everyone of was that, you know, our Fall Fest was last weekend and it was an absolute hit.
I
You know,
loved
there were
the
so
Fall
many
Fest,
people.
and I had to miss it this year.
Oh, it was so amazing. There were so many cars. It was definitely like the biggest attraction of the Fall Fest was all the amazing cars.
Yeah.
And I took, you know, a couple pictures of the cars, and they're up on our website. But what's coming up next for Elwood is the Oktoberfest, which is next Saturday.
On the 8th.
Yes, it'll be
That's in Ewing
October
Park.
8th. But the thing is, it's more geared towards adults,
It is.
obviously, because it's beer tasting.
Right. I was going to say, some people don't realize what Oktoberfest is. They think like jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkin carving, but this is actually a beer tasting event.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do have to purchase the entry ticket to get into that, and you do have to be over 21, you know. But it's not like some crazy fest where everybody's going to be, you know, drunk and everything. It's literally you get like a sip,
Yeah.
you
right.
know. So,
Right.
but it's a nice event, you know.
Yeah, it's a good community event for adults.
Yeah. All right. So is that it for our weekly news wrap up this week?
That is it, Nikki.
All right. That's a wrap. Thanks, Cassie, for coming in, and I'll see you next week.
See ya.